Have you ever found yourself waking up to an empty house, wondering if anyone will speak your name today? It's a quiet, almost invisible feeling that sneaks up on many older women living alone. A kind of loneliness that's hard to talk about but deeply felt. I know this feeling all too well because I've been there myself, waking up on those silent mornings wondering how the days would stretch out ahead. It's a heavy kind of solitude that sometimes feels endless. But here's the comforting truth. Living alone doesn't have to mean feeling lost or overwhelmed. There are gentle, simple habits you can start right now. No complicated routines, no pressure. Just easy, everyday steps that can help you regain control, peace, and a sense of purpose. These aren't quick fixes, but they're powerful enough to quietly change how you feel day by day. And the best part? These habits come with surprising benefits you might not expect. From brighter moods and sharper minds to a renewed connection with the world around you. It's like rediscovering a part of yourself that's been waiting patiently all along. So, what's one small change you'd be willing to try today to feel more alive and connected? You deserve to live fully and joyfully, no matter your age or circumstances. Let's explore these simple, meaningful ways together. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. 1. A steady daily routine. There's a gentle rhythm to every life, but you only truly notice it when the world becomes quiet, when the noise of family dinners, busy workplaces, and the endless parade of visitors begins to fade. For many older women living alone, mornings arrive like the soft chime of an old clock, familiar, yet somehow different than before. You wake up, and suddenly there's only the sound of your footsteps, the hush of the fridge humming in the kitchen, maybe the chirp of a bird outside the window. It can be peaceful, but it can also feel as if time itself is beginning to drift, slipping through your hands like sand. You might remember a time when every hour seemed spoken for, rushing to get breakfast on the table for the kids, heading out to work, juggling errands, returning home to a flurry of noise and laughter and chores. Maybe you still catch yourself setting extra plates at dinner, even though it's just you now. At first, that new silence feels like a break, a long exhale after decades of hustle. But as days roll on, it can turn into something much harder to name. A dear friend of mine, Marjorie, once described it perfectly over a cup of tea. She told me, after my husband passed and the children had settled into their own lives, it was as if someone had turned the dial down on the world. Suddenly, no one needed me to wake them, to remind them about appointments, to plan their day. I thought I'd love all this time, but I felt invisible instead. The hours melted together until I wasn't sure if it was Tuesday or Thursday. Sometimes, I'd stay in my pajamas until noon, just because there was no reason not to. It's a quiet truth that many won't say out loud. Without a steady routine, the days lose their edges. It's easy to let time slip by. Breakfast at noon, dinner whenever you remember, and nights spent scrolling through memories instead of sleeping. The result? Your mind feels foggy, your energy dips, and even your heart can start to feel heavy. It's not just about the passage of time. It's about losing the comforting structure that used to guide you from one moment to the next. But here's something I've learned from Marjorie, from other remarkable women, and from my winding path through later life. You don't have to accept that drift. You have the power every single day to draw bright lines through the hours and reclaim your days with a steady routine. A simple but profound act of self-care that does more than you can imagine. For Marjorie, the first step was small. She decided, almost on a whim, to make her bed every morning the moment she got up. She'd always done it for others, but this time, it was just for her. A signal that the day was beginning, that she mattered enough to create order in her own space. At first, it felt odd, almost performative. "Who's going to see it?" she laughed. But after a few days, she realized she was looking forward to that tiny act of discipline. It made her bedroom feel lighter, and her mood brighter. That one change led to others. She started opening her curtains every morning to let the sunlight spill in, even when the sky was gray. She picked a time for breakfast and sat at her kitchen table, sometimes with just a bowl of oatmeal and her favorite mug of coffee. The ritual became her anchor, a predictable beginning to each day that gave her comfort and steadiness, even when the world outside felt uncertain. Psychologists have long said that humans are creatures of rhythm, and nowhere is that more true than in later life. When routines disappear, anxiety has a way of sneaking in through the cracks. Sleep becomes restless. Meals are skipped. Appointments are forgotten. Without a schedule, you might find yourself awake late into the night, watching the hours crawl by, only to sleep in past sunrise and feel groggy all day. The mind, untethered, starts to wander. Small worries can snowball, and that old familiar confidence feels out of reach. But with even the simplest routine, a kind of quiet magic happens. The brain begins to recognize patterns, and in those patterns, it finds peace. Blood pressure drops, digestion improves, and the heart rate steadies. There's something deeply soothing about knowing what comes next, about having a gentle plan for each part of your day. Think of it like tending a garden. Left alone, a garden might grow wild and tangled, but with a little attention, watering at the same time, weeding, planting seeds, you create order, and with it, beauty. Your daily routine is the garden of your life. It doesn't have to be strict or elaborate, it just needs to be yours. Many women I know find that the morning is the best place to start. Wake up at the same time each day, even if there's nowhere you have to be. Wash your face, brush your teeth, and change into comfortable clothes. Something simple to remind yourself that you deserve a fresh start. Prepare a real breakfast, not just a quick snack or leftover cookie. Sit down and savor the moment, maybe with the newspaper or a favorite song on the radio. If you used to exercise, bring back a little movement, gentle stretches, a walk to the mailbox, or even dancing to music in your living room. If your faith is important to you, set aside time for prayer or meditation. Some women write in a journal, others call a friend, or spend a few minutes in the garden. The point isn't what you do, but that you do it with intention. Marjorie started marking her calendar with little notes: water the plants, call Nancy, try a new recipe. Each note became a promise to herself. Over time, the fog that had settled over her days began to lift. She told me that she felt a sense of control return, and with it, a quiet happiness she hadn't felt in years. Midday routines matter too. Lunch at a set time, even if it's just a sandwich or a bowl of soup, gives your body steady energy. Setting aside a half hour for a hobby, knitting, painting, puzzles, even watching a favorite TV show, turns empty hours into time well spent. You might be surprised at how satisfying it feels to complete a crossword puzzle or finish a book, just because you made time for it. As the day moves into the afternoon and evening, create gentle rituals to mark the shift. Maybe you walk outside to check the mail, chat with a neighbor over the fence, or simply enjoy a cup of tea by the window. Prepare dinner at a consistent hour, light a candle if you like, and take time to eat slowly. The ritual of a warm meal is comforting, a reminder that you deserve nourishment, not just food on the go. One friend, Evelyn, shared that she began writing a gratitude list at the end of each day. 3 things that made her smile, however small. Some days it was just, the cat sat on my lap, or the sun came out for 5 minutes. However, she found that closing her day with intention helped her sleep better and wake up with a lighter heart. And of course, there's bedtime. Just as you start your day with care, end it the same way. Set an alarm to remind yourself to begin winding down. Dim the lights, turn off the TV, read a few pages of a gentle book, or listen to soft music. Stretch or practice a few moments of quiet breathing. Crawl into fresh sheets, maybe with a spritz of lavender or your favorite pillow. By repeating this pattern, your body learns to anticipate rest, making it easier to drift off and stay asleep. There's a science behind this, too. Studies show that older adults who maintain a steady daily routine experience lower rates of depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. Their bodies respond with steadier blood sugar, better immune function, and even healthier hearts. But the real gift is something less measurable, a renewed sense of agency, a belief that you are still in charge of your life, no matter what changes come. You might be thinking, but what if I mess up? What if one day I just can't do it all? Here's the gentle truth. You don't have to be perfect. Some days will be smooth, others will be scrambled. That's all right. The beauty of a routine is that it forgives you. It waits for you to begin again, whenever you're ready. And if you're ever unsure where to start, look for the smallest possible act: a made bed, an open curtain, a cup of warm tea. Let that be your anchor. Let yourself be proud of every step, no matter how tiny. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's easy in our busy culture to think that routines are boring or restrictive, but in reality, they're the scaffolding of freedom. By giving yourself structure, you free your mind to dream, to create, and to enjoy. You carve out room for surprise and delight because you're no longer scrambling just to get through the day. Sometimes, the world outside feels uncertain, even a little frightening. But inside your home, you have the power to shape each day with small acts of care and attention. Over time, these little choices add up to a life that feels lived, not just endured. Marjorie still keeps her morning routine, years after she first started. She wakes up, makes her bed, and opens the curtains. Sometimes she stands for a moment in the light, hand on her heart, and whispers, "I'm here. I matter." And she does. So do you. A steady daily routine isn't about filling time for the sake of it. It's about honoring yourself, about creating a life that feels solid under your feet. It's a gentle shield against the chaos of the world, and a pathway back to joy, even on the loneliest days. So if you're reading this, maybe thinking, "I'm not sure I can start over now." Know this: every sunrise is a chance to try again. Your routine can be as simple or as grand as you wish. The only thing that matters is that it's yours. Start today with just one small act, and watch as the days begin to open up before you. Steady, beautiful, and uniquely yours. 2. Gentle movement for a stronger body and clearer mind. For most of my life, movement was never something I thought much about. It was woven into the fabric of every day, rushing through grocery aisles, kneeling in the garden, climbing stairs with laundry baskets balanced on one hip, or chasing after little ones who seemed to have endless energy. Motion was just a part of living, as natural as breathing. But something shifts when the house grows quiet and the phone rings less often. Suddenly, the days aren't filled with demands or distractions, and the little walks from kitchen to mailbox or bedroom to living room become the boundaries of your world. It happens gradually, so gently that you don't always notice until one morning. You rise from your chair and your knees complain, your back feels stiff, and your balance is no longer what it used to be. My neighbor Ruth put it best one afternoon as we sat sipping iced tea in her sunny kitchen. She said, "You know, I always thought old age would be about wisdom and stories. I didn't realize it would also be about trying to stand up without groaning." We laughed, but underneath the laughter was a soft ache, a knowing that this stage of life brings changes that can make you feel fragile in ways you never expected. If you're anything like Ruth, or like me, honestly, you might find yourself moving less than you used to. Maybe the weather isn't as inviting, or your joints seem to creak louder with each passing season. Maybe you worry about falling, or you've simply lost the habit of getting out and about. It's easy to let the TV, the book, or the puzzle become your main companion. And before long, a few hours spent sitting stretches into days where your body hardly remembers what it's like to move at all. What most people don't realize is that movement, especially gentle, regular movement, isn't just about staying limber or avoiding stiffness. It's about so much more. It's a lifeline, a message to your body and mind that you are still very much alive and needed. Every step you take, every stretch you hold, is a quiet celebration of your independence. I remember visiting my cousin Ellen, who, after her husband passed, spent weeks hardly leaving her favorite armchair. When I arrived, she greeted me with a half smile and a shrug, apologizing for the mess even though her house was spotless. Over tea, she confided, "It's just so hard to get moving when there's nowhere special to go. Sometimes, it feels pointless." Her voice was soft, and her eyes drifted to the window, watching the breeze ripple through the leaves. That's when I asked if she'd join me for a walk, just to the end of her driveway. She hesitated at first, but eventually agreed. We made our way down the sidewalk, slowly at first, then a little faster as the sun warmed our faces. Ellen pointed out a robin hopping in the grass, a neighbor's dog chasing its tail. By the time we returned, her cheeks were pink, and she seemed lighter somehow. "I forgot how good it feels," she whispered, almost in surprise. The truth is that even the smallest bit of movement can have a powerful impact. Studies have shown that older adults who engage in gentle daily exercise, walking, stretching, even standing up and sitting down repeatedly, enjoy better sleep, lower rates of depression, and a sharper mind. The act of moving isn't just physical. It's deeply connected to your emotions, your memory, and your overall well-being. It doesn't take much to get started. For some, it's a morning routine. Stand up, roll your shoulders, stretch your arms overhead, touch your toes if you can. For others, it's an afternoon stroll to the mailbox or around the garden, taking in the sights and sounds of the neighborhood. You might try marching in place while the kettle boils, or gently twisting from side to side while seated. Every bit of movement matters. Ruth decided to make a game of it. She set a small timer for every hour, reminding herself to get up, walk around the room, or simply stand and look out the window. Some days, she danced, slowly, carefully, to her favorite tunes from the radio. On other days, she would do light chores, sweeping the porch, watering the plants, and folding laundry at the kitchen counter. "It's not about breaking a sweat," she told me. "It's about reminding my body that it still knows how to move." There's beauty in the way movement reconnects you to the world around you. On her walks, Ruth began to notice things she'd missed from her window. The changing colors of the maple tree, a child's chalk drawings on the sidewalk, and the scent of fresh grass after a rain. These little details, once invisible, became small joys, markers of a world that was still vibrant and alive. It's natural to feel hesitant at first, especially if you worry about balance or falling. But there are ways to make movement safe and enjoyable. Wear sturdy shoes with good support. Start with short distances, just a few steps, then a few more each day. Use the back of a chair or a countertop for support while you stretch. Invite a friend or neighbor to join you for a gentle walk, or call them for encouragement. If walking outside feels daunting, bring movement indoors. Simple chair exercises can do wonders. Lift one knee at a time, rotate your ankles, extend your arms, and make gentle circles. Stand and sit from your favorite chair 10 times in a row, feeling the strength in your legs. These movements might seem small, but over time, they build stability and confidence. Many community centers and senior groups now offer gentle exercise classes. Yoga, Tai Chi, or stretching sessions designed specifically for older adults. If you feel comfortable, try joining a class. The companionship and routine can make it easier to stick with the habit, and you might find new friends along the way. The rewards of movement extend beyond the body. One morning, Ellen called me, excitement in her voice. "I walked around the block today, twice, and I slept through the night for the first time in weeks." She laughed, her spirit buoyant. That evening, she baked a pie, something she hadn't done in ages. It wasn't just her legs that were stronger, it was her whole sense of self. Movement also nourishes the mind. There's mounting evidence that regular activity helps protect against memory loss and cognitive decline. It encourages the flow of blood and oxygen to the brain, supports mood-boosting hormones, and quiets anxious thoughts. When you move your body, you're also moving your mind toward clarity, calm, and joy. It's easy to believe that the days of being strong and energetic are behind you, but your body is more resilient than you think. It remembers every step, every dance, every embrace. With patience and gentle persistence, you can build strength and balance. One day, one movement at a time. Sometimes, it's the tiniest victories that matter most. Ruth celebrated every little milestone, standing up from a low chair without help, balancing on one foot for a few seconds, and carrying her groceries in one trip instead of two. She marked these moments in her journal, looking back with pride at how far she'd come. "I may not run marathons," she said with a twinkle in her eye, "but I can keep up with my grandchildren in the park." I often think about a moment with my mother, late in her life. She struggled with arthritis and sometimes felt discouraged by her limitations. Yet every morning, she insisted on making her breakfast, standing at the stove to scramble eggs or stir oatmeal. "As long as I can stand," she said, "I know I'm still living my life." Her determination was a lesson in grace, a reminder that gentle movement is an act of dignity and hope. Of course, there will be days when moving feels hard, when your body aches, or when your spirit is low. On those days, it's okay to be gentle with yourself. Rest if you need to, but try not to let the stillness settle for too long. Remember, even the smallest movement, stretching your fingers, rotating your wrists, turning your head to gaze out the window, sends a message to your body. I care for you. If you find yourself feeling discouraged or lonely, reach out for encouragement. Call a friend, join a local walking group, or check in with your doctor for safe, simple exercise ideas. Celebrate your progress, no matter how gradual it seems. Every effort counts. Gentle movement isn't about competing with anyone else. It's about honoring the life within you, keeping your spirit bright and your body strong for the days ahead. It's about savoring the freedom that comes with being able to walk to your mailbox, stand in the sunshine, or dance in your kitchen with the radio turned up. So, tomorrow morning, when you wake up and the world feels quiet, try this. Take a deep breath, roll your shoulders, and let your body remember what it can do. Stand and stretch, reach for the sky, wiggle your toes. If you can, step outside and let the fresh air kiss your cheeks. Take that first step, however small, and see where it leads. With time, those small steps add up. They become a path, a way back to yourself, to the person who still dreams, still hopes, and finds beauty in a moving body and a curious mind. You deserve to feel strong, capable, and alive at every age. Let gentle movement be your companion, your quiet celebration, your promise to yourself that there is still so much life left to live. And remember, you are not alone in this. Every older woman who chooses to move, just a little every day, joins a circle of resilience and hope that stretches across towns, states, and generations. Together, step by step, we keep moving forward, stronger and clearer with every day. 3. Meaningful connection in small, steady doses. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's funny how the world can be full of people, neighbors next door, cars rushing past your street, voices drifting from the radio. Yet there are days when it feels like you're the only soul alive. The silence in your house after the bustle of years can be both peaceful and heavy, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. For many older women living alone, the day's out with a gentle, familiar quiet. But sometimes, that quiet grows into something harder. The slow ache of isolation, a longing for someone to share a smile, a story, or even just a simple hello. I remember the first holiday season I spent truly alone. The children were far away, busy with their own lives, and the friends I used to gather with had moved, fallen ill, or quietly and sadly passed on. I made a small dinner just for myself, humming along with the old carols on the radio, trying to fill the house with warmth. Yet as the evening settled in, the silence became almost deafening, so deep I could hear my heart beating. I missed the laughter, the mess, the gentle touch of a hand reaching for mine across the table. But in that loneliness, I discovered a simple, quiet truth. Connection doesn't have to come in grand gestures or crowded rooms. Sometimes, the smallest moments, an unexpected phone call, a wave from a neighbor, a chat with the woman at the grocery checkout, can bring more comfort than 100 noisy gatherings. Connection, it turns out, is not about the number of people in your life, but the quality of the moments you share, however brief. My dear friend Lillian lives 3 streets over, in a tidy blue house with roses climbing her mailbox. After her husband died, she spent weeks barely speaking to anyone, save for the delivery man or the nurse who stopped by to check her blood pressure. One afternoon, as I was walking past, I saw her weeding her front flower bed, her hat pulled low against the sun. I called out a hello, and she looked up, surprised. We talked, just for a few minutes, about the stubborn dandelions and the unpredictable weather. As I turned to go, she smiled and said, "Thank you for stopping." I didn't realize how much I missed simple conversation. That small exchange became the beginning of a ritual. Every Tuesday, I would pause at her gate to say hello, sometimes bringing a cookie or a book I thought she might like. Over time, Lillian's face grew brighter. She started to look forward to our visits, standing by her door with 2 cups of tea in hand, ready to swap stories about everything from grandchildren to gardening mishaps. It wasn't grand or dramatic, but it was real, and it reminded both of us that we were still connected to the world, still seen and remembered. Research shows that even tiny doses of human connection, a 5-minute phone call, a handwritten note, a wave through the window, can do wonders for your health. Older adults who maintain regular social contact, no matter how small, are less likely to become depressed, more likely to sleep well, and even show signs of slower cognitive decline. Your brain and your heart are wired for connection. Even when your body grows older, your spirit still needs that gentle touch of kindness. Of course, not every day will bring visitors to your doorstep. There are times when it feels easier to turn inward, to let the phone ring unanswered, or to stay hidden behind closed curtains. Maybe you feel awkward reaching out, afraid you'll be seen as needy or burdensome. But let me tell you, there is strength in vulnerability, and a quiet courage in reaching out, even just to say, "I'm thinking of you." My neighbor Arthur is a quiet man in his late 70s. For years, he barely spoke to anyone, keeping to himself after his wife's passing. One winter, during a heavy snowstorm, I left a note on his porch, offering to pick up groceries or shovel his walkway. A week later, he knocked on my door, a little unsure, with a jar of homemade jam as a thank you. Our friendship blossomed from there. Quick hellos, borrowed tools, and eventually, cups of coffee shared on quiet mornings. Arthur said that having someone to talk to, even just for a moment, made him feel less invisible. "It's the little things," he told me, "that keeps you going." The connection can be found in unexpected places. Maybe it's the barista at your local coffee shop who remembers your order, the librarian who recommends a good book, or the nurse who asks how you're feeling. These tiny moments, fleeting, perhaps, but genuine, can build a tapestry of warmth and belonging, one thread at a time. There are also beautiful ways to connect by giving. Volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering a listening ear to someone else can fill your days with purpose and joy. I know a woman named Mary who spends every Wednesday reading to children at the library. She says their laughter and curiosity remind her of her grandchildren, far away in another state. Another friend knits blankets for the hospital's newborns, sending a little piece of herself out into the world with every stitch. Even technology, sometimes daunting, can offer new pathways to connection. Learning to send emails or video chat with family can bridge miles in an instant. I once helped Lillian set up her iPad so she could see her granddaughter's face on her birthday. The first time they spoke, Lillian cried tears of happiness, marveling at the way voices and laughter could travel across the country and fill her living room with love. Sometimes, the connection is about memory and reflection, too. Writing letters or keeping a journal allows you to share your story with future generations. One friend of mine, Edith, decided to record her memories on tape for her great-grandchildren. She told stories of her childhood, of growing up during the war, of falling in love, and of building a home. "It keeps me company," she said, "and it's a gift I can leave behind." If you're not sure where to start, begin small. Call a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, just to say hello. Offer to water a neighbor's plants while they're away. Join a local group or class, even if it's just online, to share a hobby or learn something new. Bake an extra loaf of bread and leave it on someone's porch. Wave at the mail carrier. Compliment the checker at the grocery store. Every gesture is a seed. Plant enough of them, and your days will blossom with connection. Of course, it's natural to have days when you don't feel like reaching out, when the silence feels safer than the possibility of rejection or awkwardness. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Remember that connection isn't about always being busy or surrounded by people. It's about making space for kindness, for curiosity, for the slow and steady growth of relationships, no matter how small. You are never too old to make a new friend, never too set in your ways to try something different. The world is full of people longing for connection, just like you. People who would welcome your smile, your wisdom, your laughter. And you, in turn, deserve to feel needed and remembered. The truth is, we all carry stories that are to be shared. We all long for someone to listen, to nod in understanding, to remind us that our lives matter. Whether your circle is wide or small, whether your conversations are in person, on the phone, or written in ink, let them fill your heart with hope. If you're feeling hesitant, try starting a connection calendar. Mark one small act each day, a phone call, a letter, a quick chat in the garden. Over time, these moments will add up, weaving comfort and color into your life. Remember, it's not about quantity, but about presence, showing up, even briefly, for yourself and others. I've learned that some of the richest connections grow from the most ordinary seeds. A neighbor's wave, a shared recipe, the kindness of a stranger who holds the door open. These moments are proof that we are never truly alone, not as long as we reach out in small, steady ways. So tonight, as you settle into your chair, maybe with a cup of tea and your favorite blanket, think of one person you might connect with tomorrow. Maybe it's a family member, an old friend, a neighbor, or someone you see in passing each week. Reach out. Say hello. Ask how their day was. Listen with your whole heart. It might just be the moment you both need. You are part of a beautiful, unbroken chain of human connection. Your presence matters. Your kindness is a gift. And even in the quietest seasons of life, you can build bridges of warmth and understanding, one gentle act at a time. The world is waiting for your smile, your story, and your gentle touch. In every small dose of connection, you remind yourself, and others, that love and belonging never grow old. 4. A personal purpose that gives you a reason to get up. There's a quiet danger in the days that stretch out after retirement, after children have moved away, and after the familiar rhythms of work and family life have faded into memory. It's the feeling that your story has slowed, that your role in the world has diminished, that your purpose, the very thing that once gave your mornings meaning, has quietly slipped away. This loss is often unspoken but deeply felt by many older women living alone. I remember my friend Gloria, a vibrant woman who had spent decades as a schoolteacher, beloved by generations of children. When she retired, she expected to feel relief and freedom. Instead, she found herself waking up each morning with a hollow ache, unsure what to do with the hours ahead. "It felt like my purpose had packed its bags and left," she said softly one afternoon, her eyes clouded with a mix of sadness and longing. This feeling, though painful, is more common than you might think. Purpose doesn't retire with a paycheck or disappear with the last goodbye to colleagues and friends. It simply changes shape, shifting from the big roles we once played to the smaller, quieter acts that still matter deeply. Finding that new shape becomes one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself in later life. A reason to rise each morning with hope and pride. The purpose isn't about grand achievements or applause. It doesn't have to be a project that fills every minute or demands perfection. Instead, it's often found in the simple, meaningful things that bring you joy, connection, and a sense of contribution. It might be something as gentle as tending to your garden, writing letters to family members, keeping a journal, or even calling a friend to check in. Take Samuel, a man in his late 70s who lives alone in a cozy Michigan home. After his wife passed, he struggled with a heavy silence that seemed to fill every corner. Then one day, while rummaging through his garage, he found an old typewriter, dusty but still functional. He brought it inside, cleaned it carefully, and began to type. Not for anyone else, but for himself, to capture memories from his days in the Navy, stories of his children's births, and moments of love and loss. Each word on the page became a small light in the dark, a thread weaving his life back together. For Samuel, the purpose became a quiet companion, filling his days with meaning and pride. Psychologists tell us that having purpose is linked to better mental health, lower stress, and even longer life expectancy. When your spirit has a reason to aim, your days don't just pass, they hold significance. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Maybe you've always dreamed of learning something new, painting, cooking, or playing music, but life's demands never left room for those desires. Now is your chance to explore those passions without judgment or pressure. Your home can become a studio, a kitchen, or a classroom. Your hands can create, your mind can wander, and your heart can find new rhythms. Or perhaps your purpose lies in connection. Volunteering to read at the local library, mentoring younger generations, or simply sharing stories with friends and family. Giving your time and wisdom in small ways reminds you that your presence matters. It builds bridges between generations and keeps your spirit vibrant. It's also okay to find purpose in care, whether it's nurturing plants, looking after a pet, or tending to your home. These acts, though humble, are profound expressions of life and love. They create daily rituals that root you in the present and connect you to the world around you. When you find your purpose, you permit yourself to rise, even on days when your body feels tired or your mind feels heavy. You create a light that guides you through the quiet hours, a reason to greet the morning with curiosity instead of hesitation. If you're feeling unsure about what your purpose might be, start with small questions. What brings me joy? What did I love to do as a child? What simple act makes me feel proud or calm? What story do I want to tell or pass on? Answering these questions gently can lead you toward a purpose that feels authentic and nourishing. Remember, your purpose doesn't have to be fixed or permanent. It can evolve just as you do. Some days it might be about learning, other days about sharing, and sometimes just about being still and appreciating what you have. The important thing is that it gives your life a thread of meaning, a reason to get up, to move, to care. The purpose is also about self-compassion. It's about forgiving yourself for the things you can't do and celebrating the things you can. It's about seeing your life as a tapestry of experiences, wisdom, and love that continue to unfold. One woman I know, Margaret, took up knitting in her late 60s. What started as a way to keep her hands busy turned into a mission to knit blankets for newborns at the hospital. Every stitch became a prayer, a hope, a gift for families she would never meet but felt deeply connected to. Her purpose wasn't in the applause, but in the quiet satisfaction of knowing she was making a difference. No matter what your purpose looks like, it is valid and important. You don't need permission or approval to live a life full of meaning. You deserve to feel proud of the life you've lived and excited about the days still to come. So tomorrow, when your alarm gently calls you from sleep, listen not just to the sound but to the call within your heart. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today that will bring me closer to my purpose? It might be writing a sentence in a journal, planting a seed, calling a friend, or simply stepping outside to breathe in the morning air. Every day is an opportunity, a fresh page waiting for your story. Your purpose, no matter how small it may seem, is the light that will guide you through the quiet moments and into the fullness of your life. You have so much to offer, so much to share, and so much to live for. Your days are precious, your spirit is strong, and your purpose is waiting. It's time to rise, with intention and hope, and greet the beautiful possibilities that each new day brings. Remember, your story is still unfolding, and you are the author. What will today's chapter be? As we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to know how deeply important your story is. Living alone in your later years can feel like walking a quiet path, sometimes filled with shadows and uncertainty. But it can also be a path of rediscovery, strength, and unexpected joy. The routines you build, the gentle movements you make, the small connections you nurture, and the personal purpose you embrace, they are not just habits. They are lifelines, anchors that hold you steady when the world feels like it's shifting. Remember, you are never truly alone. Each step you take toward caring for yourself is a message to your soul that you matter, that your days are valuable, and that your life is full of meaning. These choices may seem small, but their impact is profound. They create a life that's not just endured but deeply lived. So, as you move forward, carry with you the knowledge that you deserve peace, purpose, and connection. You deserve mornings that welcome you warmly and nights that cradle you gently. And no matter what challenges come your way, your spirit has the resilience to rise again and again. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. I'd love to hear from you. What spoke to you the most? What small step will you take tomorrow to bring more light into your days? Please share your thoughts below. And if this video brought you comfort or inspiration, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps keep this community alive, a place where we grow stronger together. Until next time, take good care of yourself.